Hi, welcome. My name is Sherry Raftery, and this is Helping You Take Center Stage, Public Speaking and Leadership Tips. I have a bachelor's from Emerson College in Theater and Communications, and I have a master's in education from Endicott College. I've been in Toastmasters for 10 years and ran the District 31, which covers Eastern Massachusetts and Rhode Island. I'm a board ambassador to the Home for Little Wanderers, and I speak out as a live testimonial raising funds and awareness, and I present public speaking workshops. I hope you too can learn about public speaking and leadership tips. Please help me welcome my guest, Tom Muxie.
Hi, Sherry. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Tom is a disabilities advocate and an architectural access monitor. He's also a volunteer and a model and an actor. Tom, share with us where you grew up.
Well, I grew up in Watertown, Mass., which is just a little suburbia of Boston. I'm one of 8 siblings.
Wow.
5 sisters.
Wow.
And 2 brothers.
Wow. Where do you fit in that whole?
I am the second youngest.
Wow.
And I guess that's where I learned to be very patient, because using the bathroom, because there was only one bathroom, at least on our floor where we all slept, the bedroom, so there was only one bathroom. So you can imagine with 5 sisters, there was prime time for the bathroom. So you had to be pretty patient.
I have a teenage daughter. I definitely can imagine what
Yeah,
it's
I know,
like.
yeah.
I don't really get a lot of bathroom time either. Well, did you share rooms? What was that like? What was your house like? Did you have a home?
We kind of had, there were 2 families, so
Okay.
there was like the first 5, and then
Really?
there was kind of a break, of maybe 5 years, and
Wow.
then there was my brother, myself, and my sister, who was 5 years younger than I am. So,
Nice.
so it wasn't like there was always 8 kids in the house.
At all at once.
But I believe, I think at one point, because my oldest sister and one of the younger sisters had moved out, so there were probably like 5 of us, 5 or 6 of us in the house, and all the girls had their bedroom on one side of the house, and we had our bedroom on the other side of the house, and then the bathroom was in the middle, and everything else was down on the first floor. My mom and dad's were down there,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
it was amazing, because for really the first part of the family, my dad was in the Navy.
Okay.
So he wasn't home, a lot. And,
Right.
I don't know how my mother did it, but God bless her, what an angel she must have been.
Did you have were there twins in the family at all?
No twins,
Wow.
no.
Now, some people call themselves Army brats or Navy brats. That's not you? Your family just stayed in one place?
Yes, actually, because
So
my
it's-
dad was relocated to the East Coast. The only one that was born on the West Coast when my dad was in the Pacific Fleet was the oldest, my sister Teresa.
Oh, I
She was
see.
born in San Diego, and then after that he got commissioned on the East Coast, and
That's
all the rest
interesting.
of us were born in what is now Admiral's Hill, which used
Yeah,
to be the
Chelsea.
Chelsea Navy Yard.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
and-
wow, that's interesting.
Yep, we were all born there, and
Wow.
but we all grew up in Watertown. Yeah.
And what a beautiful view. I think actually that's probably the best view of
I know,
Boston right
it is,
there.
yeah.
My daughter
That's
just took her
prime
senior
space, yeah.
pictures there.
Oh, is that
Actually,
right? Yeah.
it was actually her junior picture, but her best friend's senior picture. They went
Uh-huh.
together as friends.
Yeah, that is beautiful there.
So talk about a little bit about high school. Where did you go to? Well, first of all, elementary school, and then high school and college.
Well, we amazingly enough, my parents always managed to, get the money, and they worked very hard, and we all went to private school, Sacred Heart in Watertown.
Wow.
Grade school
Nice.
was where we all went.
Nice.
And then for high school, I went to Don Bosco Tech in Boston for 4 years, and that in itself is kind of amazing, because when I think about kids now,
Yeah.
and they complain about like having to walk a quarter mile to go to school.
Right.
But I lived in Watertown, went to school in Boston, so
Right.
I had to take a bus from Watertown to Harvard Square, and take a train, the Red Line,
Right.
into Park Street, take the Green Line to Boylston Street, and then walk a quarter mile to get to school down
Wow.
Tremont Street, because Don Bosco was down in what is now the theater district.
Wow, that's
And
amazing.
yeah, so in doing that,
Yeah.
you know, so it was like sometimes over an hour each way. So it was, I mean, you know, now I think, like, if you ever asked one of your kids to do that, to go to school, they'd be looking at it like you had 3 heads. You know, they'd be like, yeah, I don't think so.
I'm not walking.
Yeah, right.
And my daughter has a car. She actually goes to the Northeast Regional Vocational Technical High School in Wakefield, but it's not very far from where we live.
Oh,
I went to
yeah.
Nazareth my freshman year in Wakefield, and I'm familiar with the Bosco schools.
Yes, yeah.
So tell
Yeah,
us a
Don
little bit about.
Savio was in East Boston. That was the sister school for,
Yeah, and-
for Don Bosco. And I think that may still be there, although Don Bosco is now,
Right.
I think it's a YMCA now, last time I drove by there.
Okay, John Bosco, the technical school that you
Yeah,
went
the
to?
school itself,
Oh,
yeah.
I see. So tell us what, you're saying it's a technical school and you had to pay for it. I know the technical schools today
Yes.
are free. Can you explain a little bit about that? And also, what did you take as a technical?
Well, because it
student?
was a private school, so
Yeah.
you know, so my mom and dad had to pay for that. Me and my brother went there, and so I took up building construction technology,
Wow.
which was basically a combination of woodworking and drafting.
Right. Is that what you wanted to do in life? To be
That's what
a
I did.
drafter?
I did want to. Well, I wanted to do. I wanted to do something in the construction industry. So
Okay.
you know, whether it was
Yeah.
building or
Right.
whether it was in design, that was my
Wow.
general goal in life, was to do that.
Engineering, perhaps? Or?
Yes, and
That's great.
that because my dad was. He
Yeah.
was the chief machinist mate, so he was
Oh.
an engineer. He was in charge of the engine rooms
Wow.
on destroyers when he was in the Navy for 20 years.
Amazing.
So I think that kind of rubbed off on all of us, and we all had that kind of like fix things, make things, and we always did woodworking. We were always brought up with that,
Right.
and so that I kind of wanted to, you know, get into that field. But
Right.
then I graduated from Don Bosco,
Right.
and one of my first jobs that my dad helped me get was working for a local construction company, and they were doing like gas stations,
Oh, okay.
you know, building gas stations
What
and
towns
stuff.
were those in?
It was all over the place. I remember
Really?
one of my first jobs was up on Route 1 somewhere.
Oh, okay.
But I guess because of my age and insurance reasons, so I never really got to do any of the good stuff. I always got the, hey Tom, there's a bathroom out in the back. You want to go paint the bathroom,
Oh,
or do you want
gosh.
to do that? Because I guess I couldn't like be around heavy equipment,
Okay.
or I couldn't do any of the digging,
Yeah.
or you know, any of the stuff that I really wanted to do.
Right.
So needless to say, that didn't last very long.
Oh.
And I was like, well, I don't think this is going to work. So I ended up looking for a job, and I ended up getting a job in electronics, which I had never done before, but they couldn't pay for my go to night school.
Oh, nice.
So I went to Sylvania Tech Night School. I started there doing just basic assembly
Wow.
in the electronics field, and then
Really?
went to night school, and I got my certificate in computer electronics.
Nice.
And worked with them for a while, then started doing some job shopping on my own, subcontracting, and for different jobs. It would be like a 6-month contract here and there.
Right.
And that's how I got into electronics,
That's great.
which was eventually where, after my accident, my first job was working for Digital Equipment Corporation
Oh, which one?
in Andover.
Okay. Is it still there, or is it?
It is still there,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Although they've gotten digital, has long
Yeah.
since got bought out by Compaq, and then Compaq got bought out by Hewlett Packard. So, but the
Amazing.
facility is still
Still
there
there.
that I used to work in, yeah. And a lot of the people that I worked with are still there also.
Right. And you've been married, correct?
Yes, I was married for 9 years. Married in
Wow.
1990.
Very nice.
And didn't have any, had no children,
Right.
and got
Yeah.
divorced in 1999.
Oh, wow. If could we talk a little bit about when you say the accident, so that
Yes.
folks know a little bit about?
Yes, at the time I was working in Salem, but I was traveling to Waltham to get my resume worked on through Sylvania Tech, which is where I graduated from. But that was one of the things they helped you out with, was,
Yes.
you know, if you needed work on your resume, they gave you a hand with that. I
Nice.
kind of wanted to see get a little bit better job than where I was.
Right.
And so I was coming back from Waltham at rush hour, 1:28. So
Right.
you figure how fast. Nobody's rushing in rush hour, so I don't know why they call it rush hour. But anyway, so we were in traffic, and but somebody had, cut in front of me.
Right.
And didn't have enough room, so
Okay.
they hit my front wheel. I was on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And I lost control, and I kind of blacked out for a couple of minutes. But but basically that guy was in it because he was cutting in and out of traffic from
Wow.
what I heard in the reports afterwards. And he was out of my lane, and he was gone, so they never caught the guy.
Wow.
Who hit me. But I was very very blessed that because my injury is I'm a paraplegic, so I'm a T4-5 level, so I'm paralyzed from the chest down.
Okay.
But I do have use of my two arms, all the muscles in my arms and stuff, which really makes it a lot easier, to be independent, because I can do my own transfers, I can feed myself, I can, I live alone. I have a personal care attendant that comes in the morning to help out.
Nice.
But after that, I'm all set for the rest of the day, and
Right.
I go out and do my thing. I have my own van, I drive around.
Wow. Look at you.
Get involved in, as
Yeah.
we'll talk about, so all kinds
Yeah.
of projects and stuff. But
Absolutely.
but I was very blessed that if a lot of times from something bad, something good happens.
Right.
I at the time I was kind of content to have the job that I was doing in Salem, and I was making enough money to do things that I wanted to do, have my fun, had my toys.
Right.
Everything was okay.
Yeah.
And then I had my accident, and so obviously that was a life changer. And sure, a lot of things go through your head, about, well, now what's my life going to be like? It's almost like you get to a point where you have to reinvent yourself, to see what it is that you want to do now with your life,
Right.
And so I decided, thank God I had so much family support and friend support. That was a huge thing,
Nice.
in my recovery was, my friends came to visit me in the hospital.
Right.
Obviously, all my family was behind me, and sometimes, like, even after, like, when I got out of the rehab, I moved back to my mom and dad's house because I wasn't able to get back into my apartment because it was up on the second floor where I used to live. And so I moved back home with them until I could find a place of my own to live, an apartment. And I just, in that time, you're trying to figure out, well, where do I want to go now? What do I want to do?
Right.
And I went to a disability job fair, and I put out, my resume and stuff, and some months later I got a call from Digital.
Nice.
They said, hey, why don't you come on in, want to interview you for a tech job and stuff. And
Wow.
I did that, and I got the job.
Great.
And I started doing the tech work it was about a year, and then I kind of got bored with that, and I was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. I didn't want to go to school for engineering. I ended up going in to customer service. Job opened up. I went into there, and then a job opened up in purchasing, so I moved into purchasing and ended up ultimately becoming a buyer for Hewlett-Packard.
Wow.
I was there for 13 years.
What did you do as a buyer?
I had an account in New York for
Really?
the Citibank account was my account.
Did you travel to New York?
And I didn't travel there. No, we
Okay.
just basically what we had. We were under contract with Citibank in New York, and so that we were where I worked in Andover is the worldwide warehouse for Hewlett-Packard, Digital, Compaq, whatever.
Yes.
So when a technician went out to troubleshoot the computer, he would find out, what needed to be fixed. The order would come into our facility, and then we either, had those parts on hand, or we
Right.
went out and we procured those parts,
Right.
somewhere else through another vendor and stuff like that. So,
Wow.
and I enjoyed that. But some conditions that I had from my accident over the years had just gotten to the point where I wasn't able to keep up and do the job. I was working a lot of overtime. Wasn't getting to the gym and doing the things that I really needed to do to keep my body, strong and healthy, which is
Right.
really a main priority. It's not
Yeah.
like working out is not really a choice. It's something that you have to do.
Right.
You
right.
know,
Understand.
and so I decided that it was probably time to go out, and I had a long-term disability policy, insurance policy through digital,
Oh.
through Hewlett-Packard.
Wow.
And although I didn't really expect on
To use
using
it.
it this soon or
Oh.
early in my career,
Interesting.
but
Yeah.
things were going the way they were going, and
Yeah.
so I did that, and I ended up going out on long-term disability from Hewlett-Packard, and then it kind of opened up another chapter in my life, and now I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, now what am I going to do with my life?
Yeah.
It's now with my some of the limitations that I had, where was I going to go? And I just there were some things that I had gotten into when I was working at Hewlett-Packard, the volunteer work that I was doing on the side, and I had started out doing some modeling when I was first got in my first handicap apartment. I think I was bored one day, and I was looking through the paper, and there was a course that was advertised for modeling, and it was like right down the street. I could have rolled down to it. So I'm
Did
like,
you?
yeah. So I'm like, I'm
Literally?
going to take the course because I just want to see what people's reaction is going to be to, this guy showing up in a wheelchair taking
Yeah.
a modeling course. And I figured they'd probably be like, dude, I think the handicap thing is down the hall or something like that.
Well,
So, but everybody was very accepting. The teacher had experience with persons with disabilities doing modeling and
Great.
stuff. So,
Yeah.
it really worked out all right. She got me my first modeling job.
Yeah.
And I just kept up with it. I've since hooked up with some photographers doing disability lifestyle modeling,
Nice.
and which is basically modeling for people with disabilities portrayed in a positive light, out there doing positive things, not
Right.
just, hospitals and, that type of stuff, but
Right. Right.
out in the community,
Yeah.
being productive members of society and stuff like that. So,
You are.
and I still do that to this day,
Yeah.
and would love to keep trying to break into catalog modeling to do, either clothes, it's
Yeah.
like,
That'd be
hey, I shop
yes.
at Macy's, I shop at,
Yes.
all these stores. It's like, why can't I model clothes, or why can't I do eyeglass modeling, or,
Right.
whatever, tie models, well, whatever,
Yeah. Hand modeling.
hand modeling, yeah, that is, yeah, they do
Yes.
there's all kinds of
That's
stuff.
fantastic. You're very handsome.
Oh,
So, and I know
thank you
that
very
that's
much.
great
Oh,
that
you're
you're
too
getting
kind.
paid gigs
Yeah.
to model. I can't even do that. I mean,
Oh, you could look at.
no, I
Hey, maybe we'll have to get together, and it'll be the
Start
two
a
of us who'll
business.
be out there. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
We'll start a modeling business. So I just
Oh.
wanted to go back a little bit and
Sure.
just check in with you when you said the upper extremities, and so we're talking about your limbs,
Yes.
and so that would be a paraplegic, meaning two, and then
Sure.
so I know that some people are quadriplegics. I had a best friend in high school. His twin brother was a quadriplegic, and he couldn't use any of his limbs. So I think it is terrific that you have that ability, and it doesn't, even though you're limited, you're still somewhat independent, that you
Yes.
can drive. And can you share a little bit about how you drive and what you do? What is
Sure.
how is a car made up so that it assists you in driving?
Well, a lot of people, it depends. Like even in the world of paraplegics, So there are different levels of paraplegic. So I'm a T4.
Right.
You
So
know,
T4
somebody
means what to us that may not know?
that would be the thoracic vertebrae.
Okay, thoracic vertebrae is the third vertebrae. Is that what
Yeah,
that
so I'm a
means?
T4-5, so I'm right between the fourth and fifth
Fifth.
thoracic vertebrae.
Okay.
The higher up you go, then there's the cervical,
Okay.
which is when you start getting into quadriplegics.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
higher up that you go,
Right.
the more that you lose. The
Okay.
lower that you go,
Right.
Then you
Yes.
have a little bit, more
Yes.
motion or
Yeah.
control.
And I believe
So-
you said you had your helmet on when you
I did,
had your motorcycle
yes.
accident.
I mean, I always wore my helmet, even
Yeah.
in New Hampshire. I mean, it was a state law in Mass anyway.
In Mass, in some states, it's not even like Gary Busey. He never wears his helmet. He gets
No,
in
I know.
accidents.
If
all
you
the
watch,
time.
it's funny because if you watch a lot of TV shows,
Yeah, they don't wear.
They don't wear the helmets, and
Right.
it kills me whenever I see that because
Uh-huh.
it's like setting the example,
Right.
For
Yeah.
kids that are watching that show.
Right.
That look at no helmet.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for my helmet,
Right.
I probably would not be here because it was cracked wide open. It was
Wow.
just like.
Wow. So it saved you in some
It
ways.
totally
yeah.
saved me, and saved from my brain injury, and
Yeah.
from any kind of brain injury and stuff
Wow.
like that. So
Wow.
I was very blessed that
Yeah.
to have that.
Is this a subject that you'd speak out on about motorcycles and riding helmets?
When I
and
do
showing
some of my
folks-
disability awareness presentations,
Yeah,
and
what can happen when
yeah,
when
I-
folks are just weaving in and out of traffic and
Yeah.
hitting someone on the motorcycle, you'd be a great advocate to share
Yeah,
what can happen.
I've done
becoming a victim.
presentations for, and I really love them. I did a presentation one time for a group of 80 fourth graders,
Wow.
and it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
I had my bicycle helmet, right, to show them about bicycle safety
Yeah.
and
Oh,
stuff
nice.
like that.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
we were talking about a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I was really surprised at the questions
Yeah.
that they were asking,
Right. Right.
because, you'd really think like,
Yeah.
well, what would they really
Right.
know or ask? But I kind of started off and I asked them about, do you have any members of your family that are disabled? Or friends that are disabled, and what do you think about that?
Yeah.
And they really,
They don't think about it.
they really do think
They do,
about it. They
right?
were like, oh yeah, I feel bad for my uncle because, he can't go out, or, some other kid was like, no, my friend is in a wheelchair and she gets around, rolls around all over the place, and, they really were honest and
Yeah.
open and shared their experiences.
Great.
And I think at that age it was kind of cool because you get them before they're jaded
Yes.
by society
Right.
about,
And you can
in
warn them
different,
to drive
things.
safely.
Oh yeah,
in the
yeah,
traffic,
yeah,
yeah.
that's part of the presentation.
Yeah, absolutely. I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
I wanted to move on to your volunteering, and also I know you do acting, so maybe you
Yeah.
could share with us some of the organizations you're involved in. And
Well, like I said, back when I was working, I started doing some volunteer work for the Independent Living Center of the North Shore and Cape Ann.
okay.
And they had some volunteer groups that that go and do surveys for compliance to the Massachusetts codes
Wow.
for accessibility.
Okay.
So that was something that really caught my interest.
Great. Yeah.
So I went and I got certified by the state to do
Wow.
architectural access surveys.
It's perfect for you. Now you're combining what you love. You wanted to do architecture
I always
work.
wanted to do architecture work.
And now
yep.
you get to advocate
And
on behalf of.
I'm an
Look
advocate.
at you.
Yeah.
That's
see,
awesome.
See how it all
Yeah,
kind of
you-
all came
I-
together,
I-
full circle. See, that's
Yeah,
how
I do. I love
out
that. That's great.
out of bad things, good things come. But
Yeah.
I was always a very motivated individual,
Yes.
and I'm always looking
Yeah.
to push the envelope.
Yeah.
So, once I started getting into volunteering for, some of these groups and stuff, I started volunteering for groups that do sports.
Oh, good. Nice.
For people with all different kinds of,
Yeah.
abilities. So.
Yeah. So you
as
do
you can see,
sports
yeah.
now, right?
Yes, yeah, you can see, play
Amazing.
tennis.
Tennis,
and,
yep. And
done some sailing out in
Paris
Boston.
sailing.
Yeah, Boston
Is that
Harbor.
Pierce Park? East Boston Pierce Park has a particular
an
program.
adaptive sailing
adaptive
program.
sailing program, yes.
Yep. And
I could never do.
adaptive
See, I could not do
archery.
that. I could not.
And it's funny because the picture on the left there, me hanging there,
Yes.
that was the first ever
Wow.
outside climb
Really.
with this group called Waypoint Adventures.
Wow.
And they're a great group. If you ever look them up online, if you ever want to volunteer, they're always looking for volunteers.
Nice.
And they're just wonderful people, and they take people of all abilities out there,
Right.
whatever, Down syndrome, paraplegics,
Great.
quadriplegics, any.
Nice.
If you want to do it,
Yeah.
they'll find a way to get you
I'm
up
afraid.
there. And we
Of heights.
actually had, I called up, I sent something on Chronicle. I
Yeah.
sent them an email saying that there was an interesting happening at Quincy Quarries.
Oh.
So that kind of got them, and they called me up, and
Yeah.
they actually sent a crew
Yeah.
down, and
Yeah.
ended up being a segment on Chronicle.
Wow. Look at you.
And
You're amazing.
me and a friend of mine, Eric, who another full circle thing, was one of the first kids that had come to visit me when I was in the rehab,
Yeah.
to show me that there was life
After.
spinal cord injury.
Nice.
You know, and so he had told me about adaptive sports that he was doing back then.
Right.
And then after I got out of the rehab, we had kind of lost touch, and you know, we kind of both were doing our own thing.
Right.
And then fast forward to 20 whatever years later, 26 years later,
Right.
here I am with
Oh
like,
my God. Isn't it amazing?
Eric. He was here, like, to do the climb together.
That is amazing.
So there was the both of us, and Chronicle was there, you know, to catch the
love it.
whole thing, and to see him there and see him again. It was just, it
That's
was
great.
really awesome. Yeah, it was just such a good feeling, you know, and then just to be up there,
Right.
you know,
I
to
love
be so independent,
Yeah.
and I don't know.
You are
it's just-
independent. Would you be able to share a leadership tip with us? Because I know you're out there leading community.
Yeah, I think probably one of the main things as far as leadership is really motivation and organization.
Those are great.
For me, organization's very important, because I'm kind of like, if things are disorganized, I can't deal with it.
Right,
I have to.
understand. Yeah.
I have to compartmentalize things
Yeah.
and make sure everything is
Orderly.
in orderly fashion, so
Yeah.
I can, okay, I'm going to do this, going to do this,
Yeah.
going to do this.
Public speaking tip?
Don't say and ah.
That's perfect. It was great having you on as a guest today. I'm so excited. I hope you are able to come back.
Well,
I
thank
wanted
you
to
very much.
Just in closing, I wanted to say if you wanted to connect with Tom, we can get you connected, maybe hire him as an actor. I hope that we were able to help you take center stage with public speaking leadership tips. I wanted to also hand this to you, and I wanted to thank you for being such a
Oh,
great
thank you
guest,
very much. Well, I appreciate it.
and
Thank you.
incorporating everything, all the points that we needed to hear, and making us aware of paraplegic and also motorcycles, and that people need to be aware.
Motorcycles are everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, so watch out. So thank you so
Exactly.
much for
Thank
having
you
me
so
on.
much
I really
for coming.
appreciate
You're
it.
awesome.
Thank you.
I can't wait to act with you again. You're also
yes,
performing
I
at
look
Theater
forward
Company
to that.
Saugus,
Yeah.
and you do such great work.
Yeah, we've done a couple of productions together, and
Yes.
yeah, I'd love to do that again.
Thank you for coming. And I do hope to have you on again, and I hope that you audition again for Theater Company Saugus.
Yeah, no, I haven't really auditioned for.
Yeah, we got to
I
get
think
you
the
back.
last one. Yeah, I think the last one I did was.
You can't take it with you?
I did. No, I did audition.